start sharing my screen. Again, for those of you who are just popping on, we're going to go over Cloud CMA. Next week, we're going to go over how to create a CMA and RPR. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. So to start us off today, I'm just going to be showing you some behind the scenes like account settings that you can utilize when you're setting your Cloud CMA up. And that way it's individualized to you. So we're going to start up here in where my avatar would be, up in the upper right hand corner. And I'm just going to click on this. And it's going to open some different links that I can use. I'm going to first show you the account settings.
While she's pulling this page up, I want to let you guys know Cloud CMA is available to everyone. We don't immediately set you up the same way we do with the website and zip forms, things like that. So if you want an account, just send an email to Nikki and I and let us know that you want an account and we'll get you set up.
Yes, absolutely. So you can see right here on the left side of my page, under account settings, I have different options that I can choose. We're going to just start with my profile because I don't have my avatar, I don't have my photo loaded up. But if we scroll down on the page here, aside from changing your photo or adding a different photo, you add your name, email, company, and you can also add your company logo for branding, so you're compliant with your branding. If you need a company logo, you can either get one from our doc store or you can contact Stacy or myself and we'll get one to you. So let's go ahead up here. I'm just going to change my avatar. And it's just like anything that you would change. You just go to wherever it is you're going to find your picture. Mine's right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Open it. Move you guys around. And this you can move around a tiny bit so it centers yourself. And then you just go to confirm. And bam, there I am. Let's see, we'll go over here. I'm going to show you my contact information as well. So you can add contact information if you want to here. And this will be at the bottom of each page that you want to add. So any page that you print out, it will have your information on there. Phone number, name, or email, whatever you choose. Okay. Let's go back here. Something else that we can add in here are some custom pages. I'm going to go back to where I found that. I went back into my avatar here. I'm going to kind of jump around, so I apologize. We're going to go down here to our custom pages. Custom pages could be if you wanted to add a resume or if you wanted to add any client testimonials, just anything that you see under these custom pages, you can add those. And you just add those by going into this pencil here, which is your editing. And then once in there, you can create your resume, your client testimonials, whatever it is that you want to add to make your CMA customizable to you, focusing on the great things that you're doing out there. You can also make a custom page that you can create on your own, and you can add that by uploading a PDF here, or you can add it over here as well. All right. So I'm going to jump back here. Again, I'm sorry for jumping around. I'm going to go back into my account settings. Something else I want to show you is where you can add your MLS credentials. So your MLS credentials, you're just going to put whatever MLS provider you're using, whether it be SWIR or Great Plains, and then you'll put your user ID number in there, and then your MLS password or your PIN, and then you just go to update your MLS credentials right here.
I do want to throw in, if you are licensed in 2 states, if you're in Nebraska and Iowa, and you want to use this, you will have to go in here and change it from one to the next if you want to use it in the opposite state that you typically are in. You have to
Oh,
add
that's
your
great
own.
information. Thanks for adding that,
It
Stacy.
can't hold two, unfortunately. So
Mm, okay, perfect. All right. So I think I went over, oh, nope, 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 I did not. I missed one thing, one big important thing. And this is, again, underneath your avatar, and it is the support center and learning resources. So I'm going to go ahead and click on learning resources. And there are videos that you can watch, and they're pretty quick videos. There's also a way that you can chat. If you see that chat box that just popped up on the right side of my screen, you can chat with somebody. There's some classes that you can take as well. And then let me go back here, guys. No. Let me click out of this and go back to my avatar. There's also a support center that you can contact if you have any questions. You can always contact Stacy or myself with questions as well. So if you are somebody who wants to, after this training, dig a little bit deeper into Cloud CMA, just reach out to one of us and we'll definitely work with you one-on-one with whatever you need. So I know I went over that pretty quickly, but really it's just how to set your account up, make sure it's individualized to you, and it has all the information that you want your client to see when you create the CMA. All right, so if there's no questions, without further ado, Stacy Trebian, everybody. Yay!
all right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, before I get started, I just want to talk about Cloud CMA really quick. Cloud CMA, when we think of this program, we think of its main proponent, which is the CMA builder. So you'll see at the top, there are actually 5 different types of products within Cloud CMA. This last one I'm going to ignore, HomeBeat. We're not going to go through HomeBeat. That is an added one. The first 4 we provide for you. HomeBeat is really cool. It kind of sends a quick CMA, or what we would call a real estate review. You can set, if you choose to purchase it, you can have it set up to send your clients, you know, a CMA or a real estate review, market snapshot type thing on a regular basis. You can upload your database, and that's what that one is. But the 4 main products of Cloud CMA are here at the top: the CMA, the buyer tour, it says property, but it's actually property report. So a property report and a flyer. The difference between flyer and property report, the property report is going to give you more pages. So you're going to have the flyer's 1 page. The property report will pull in kind of the information you'd see on a flyer, as well as additional photos, as well as neighborhood school information. You'll see neighborhood or the surrounding restaurants with Yelp reviews, things like that is attached to the property report. What's really nice is that if you can make one of these products, the CMA, the buyer tour, property report, or flyer, if you know how to do one of those, you can do all of them because they're the same 4 steps. Buyer tour, we haven't had to teach on this one much lately with the way that the market has been, but the buyer tour basically is if you are going to take a buyer to go see multiple homes, you can come in here and create a really pretty presentation that maps the listings you're going to visit. It allows them to create ratings and keep notes on each of those individual properties. So I think that we're going to start seeing this more. Maybe you're starting to do that more, and we can utilize this tool. It's a really pretty presentation. You can send a digital version to your client that they can do right from their phone, which is really nice because then it logs those notes, and they can kind of give it a star rating like we see in reviews, each property, and they can really look through each of the pictures to remember the properties that they had visited. So that's really cool too. I am going to walk through the CMA. Like I said, all of these work the same way. So I mostly want to show you the CMA. It's the #1 tool in this program that's used. So I'm going to show you how to use that one first. And then I might show you maybe the property report. So to get started, I logged into Cloud CMA. And then this is my home screen. So this is showing me all my recent reports. You only see CMAs on my screen right here. You can see in the little box it said CMA. But these are my past ones. If I had buyer tours, property reports, or flyers recently, those would appear here as well. Now, when I want to create a new CMA, I can either come up here and click to this CMA and then click again to say new, or I can just click right here where it says create a new report. And then I'm going to select which one I want to do. So you can see here, they spell it all out. It's a property report. So I'm going to select CMA. And then at the top here, you will notice I'm on step 1 of 4. So these are the 4 steps I said are all the same with all of these products. So if you're doing a property report, you're going to see these same 4 steps, as well as the buyer tour, the flyer, and obviously here the CMA. So our first step is to name the report. So this is the client's name that you're going to meet. So there's going to be a page, and I'll show it to you, that says this was prepared for, and you can decide how you want to name it. I'm going to name this one my husband and my name, just to be simple. Am I missing a question?
Yeah, the question was, is this like the collab center for MLS?
I am not super familiar with the collab center from the agent side. I've seen it on the customer side. I don't know that it creates a buyer tour the same way. So you can probably, I'll have to get back into that, but this buyer tour basically gives you a presentation for your buyer after you've selected the properties you're going to take them to, or the showings you're going to take them to. Okay, subject property. This is the home I'm preparing the CMA for. I'm going to put in my own address just because that's easier for me. So we're going to say my home is the one that I'm going to go meet with, and I'm going to prepare this CMA for them. Right here, you can see beds and baths, and already I can see I need to modify this. This just pulls from public record. You can modify any of this if you know it better. Leave property type as residential, but then over here, you have the opportunity to add a photo. So when I said it would show this CMA is prepared for Ben and Stacy Trebian, in addition to their names on that page, it will give you a spot to either put a photo of the home, which if you've taken a photo of the home ahead of time, or maybe you download a photo of the home from the DC assessor, that's great. If you don't add a photo, that's fine too. If you don't add a photo, it's going to do a map of the property with a pin where the property lives. So it's still specific to the property. I'm going to pull a photo in just so that you can see where all that goes if it is in this photo section.
Just a random photo, right, Stacy?
What's that?
A
Just
random photo. Just a random photo of your adorable daughter.
Baby girl. Okay, so underneath that, you'll see this advanced info. This information is going to work when we pull in our comps. If we choose to use a layout of showing our comps in a column layout, which means my subject property will be first and all the comps will be listed afterwards with their data below so that they can easily be compared. If I want to add more information to that column display about my subject property, I can add it here. So I can add my garages, I can add my subdivision, I can add my style. So that's really more just for display in the way that it looks. It's not going to modify the way any of the data is pulled. Okay, so I did step 1, which is name the report, add subject property, and now I'm going to scroll down that same page because we're still on step 1 of 4, the criteria. If I scroll down this page, it says, how do you want to get comparative listings? So you have 2 options here. On the left-hand side, you'll see it says exact listings. This is for the agent who has gone to the MLS and they already chose the comps that they want to use in their presentation. Some agents use the Cloud CMA just for how pretty the presentation pulls out and how quick and easy it pulls all the comps. The comps look really nice in this presentation. And so in that case, they've gone to the MLS, you did your whole criteria narrow down there and pulled actual MLS numbers to put in here. That's totally fine. You can add MLS numbers in this box and separate them by either a space, a comma, or on different lines. But the way I'm going to show you today is this or, the quick and dirty. This is the Cloud CMA way to pull listings. And to do this, it's by proximity. So I'm going to check this box that says automatically find listings near the subject property. We really have to keep in mind this proximity word that it said. It didn't say, we're going to narrow it down by house style, beds, baths, anything like that. It said, I'm going to pull properties quick and dirty, super quick by proximity of the subject property. Next line says get at least 10 listings. I don't suggest saying more than that because it will automatically pull in way more than 10 unless there just aren't that many around it. But in my experience, any address I put in here, it pulls, when I say get at least 10 listings, it usually pulls like 20. So this is typically sufficient. And then the next one says only go back and it defaults to 1 year for off-market listings, but I'm going to change that to 6 months. With the way that the market has changed, I'm going to go ahead and modify that. Okay. Next, we're going to click fetch. So I've modified everything. I added the name of the client, their property. I modified their property information, and then I'm selecting the quick and dirty version. So now all I have to do is click fetch listings. We're going to give that a minute. It's going to pull up the next step. Okay, so now you can see we did criteria and now we're on step 2 of the 4-step process, which is listings. At the top, you will see the map, which shows you all the different listings that it pulled surrounding my subject property. If I scroll down just a little bit, you'll see here is the legend that shows you the green ones active, the orange are pending, and the red are sold. Subject property is listed right here in blue. Now, if I want to, I can put a price in here. So something that Cloud CMA does not do is it does not give you a suggested price. So some agents like to add it, some like to leave it blank. I'm going to leave it blank today. But what we can do is go through and look at the different listings that it pulled as comps. So if I scroll down this page, you're going to see there's way more than 10, right? I said pull at least 10, and what did it give me? Like 15 at least. Anything that's green in the checkbox, and you can read it, it's not grayed out. Those ones are right now included in my presentation. I don't think I need to have 10 in my presentation, so I'm going to go through and find the best comps for my property. And to do that, all I have to do is open up this notes and adjustments tab to see more about the property. So I can see, okay, this is a 4-bedroom, 3 garage, 3 bath. It's a pretty comparable comp, right? So this is a good one. I'm going to leave that one. It's a 2-story like mine is. So I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to look at this one. This one's a ranch. So maybe I don't want to include this one. All I have to do is uncheck that box. I'm going to go through a few more and show you more about this. That's a good comp right there. I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to remove that ranch. So this is what it means by quick and dirty. So it didn't take into account how many beds, baths. It didn't take into account if it's a ranch or a 2-story or a multi-level, a villa versus a single family. So that is what I'm doing here. Now, the ones that were grayed out, I also have the ability to go in and look at those to decide, actually, I do want that one to be part of my presentation. And I can do that just by adding it by clicking the checkbox to make it green, and then it will be a part of the presentation. I'm going to scroll down and look at the pending ones it suggested. We'll leave that one.
And you'll notice that the summary of prices, that will change as she selects or unselects properties.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just looking through, just showing you how this process works a little bit. We do want to try and have some active, some pending, some sold. So if I leave that one on, we've got a good mixture. Another thing you can do, sometimes we want to make an adjustment for the price of the home based off of the differences between the comps. Maybe it's a really good comp, but this is not a good example, but they have the comp that I'm comparing it to has updated its kitchen, and my subject property home's kitchen is not updated. I can go into that property. Let's say we're just going to pick this one. I'm going to say, I'm going to include this one, but I'm going to come down here in the notes and adjustments and make an adjustment and say, this one has an updated kitchen. So this one, I'm going to give a value of 20,000. Okay, so that modified the price. Now, if I go back to the top, sorry, you can see this has adjusted. All right, you can see the adjustment right there. Do you guys have any questions on this? Oh, one other thing you can do, you can add a listing. If there's a listing you know you want to include and it didn't include it, or you want to add maybe a for sale by owner property that isn't pulling off the MLS as a sold or pending or active, you can do that right here. If you know the MLS number of a different home you want to include, you can add the MLS number here to add it to the report. Otherwise, you're going to fill out the information about that additional comp. All right, that's step 2. Any questions on that? No. Okay, now I'm going to click Customize Report. And here is step 3. So we did the criteria, the listings, and customize is the side that we're on now. So step 3, this is basically deciding what documents do I want to be a part of my presentation, right? So if you look at the screen in front of you, we've got additional content on the left, and then it says your CMA report in white on the right. Anything that's in that white column is going to be included in the report when I print it. Everything on the left, let's think of that as like your library of documents. I'm going to scroll down. The first thing we're going to look at is where it says theme, and it says the MP Dodge theme. Don't change that. That's going to pull in your logo. That's going to pull in the proper branding and colors. It's going to keep you in compliance. So keep the theme as NP Dodge Real Estate. But then something you can change is the layout. I'm going to click on that. Can you see my pop-up?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So this is choosing not all the documents, but how you want your comps displayed. So it's going to, those comps we just selected, I can have them displayed within this presentation with lots of information, with a photo and a map of that property, 2 photos, maximum data, or 2 properties per page here. And if I go down a little bit, there's 4 properties per page, a 3-column comparison, which does not include your subject property. So the 3-column comparison is just going to start putting the comps next to each other with all their data below. But the one I'm selecting that I see a lot of agents mostly use is this 4-column comparison, because it will put my subject property first, and then it's going to put the comps next to it with their data below that you can compare then with your subject property. So that's the layout I'm going to select. This is totally personal preference. There's no wrong answer here. And then I get to decide what pages I want to be a part of my presentation. For those of you who have never used Cloud CMA before, you will probably see like 70 pages here. That is probably too many. So what you get to do is come in and decide which ones you want to be a part of your presentation. The nice thing is, if I edit the documents that are in here, the next time I come in to do a CMA, it will remember the documents that I kicked out, and it will just give me the ones that I narrowed it down to. So that means the most work you will do will be the first time you create a CMA. And going forward, it has memory of what you chose to be a part of a CMA going forward. So for instance, I am going to preview the cover 1 by clicking on the name of the document. It's going to pull up a PDF preview of what that cover page will look like. If I like it, I leave it. If I don't, I'm just going to click this negative sign over to the left of the name of the document, and it's going to kick it out. And it now lives over here in my library. So there's cover 1. So I do want to cover. So I'm going to look at another one and decide, do I want cover 2? Do I want cover 3? That's beautiful. Let's use cover 3. And then I can just click the check or the plus mark, and it's going to automatically put it into my report. So negative sign kicks it out, positive sign from the library kicks it back in. I can look through all of these, really take some time. And if you don't want to look at them all digitally, print it the first time and really look at the documents and decide which one you want to be included, and then go and modify what this looks like going forward for all of your CMAs that you create. I'm going to come over here. So when Nikki was talking about those custom pages, the system has built in a couple of them. For instance, the cover letter. Now, if I click on that, it says, Dear Mr. and Mrs. Trebian, and then it has a, a letter to your potential sellers signed by you. You can probably leave all of this the same, but if you're going to include this document in your CMA, it will hold the last name that you entered. So if I am going to add this and I want to modify it, I can just add it with the plus like I did, and then come over to the edit button, or I can edit it where Nikki showed you. So I can say, Dear Ben and Stacy, and then click save. And now I know that that cover letter is going to be specific to this client. The agent resume over here, this is another one that she showed you in the custom content. This is not a great resume. So you want to make sure you go in and edit that, add your information, or if you had created, maybe you used a different program like Canva or Pages or Illustrator, and you created your own resume or about me type of thing you want included with your presentation. The same place where you can edit these in the custom pages section is where she showed you, you can upload those documents. And if you've uploaded your own custom pages, they will live in the library at the bottom, and you can add them here. So I can say, oh, there's my PDF about, I created a page. These are obviously not real pages, but let's just pretend that this is my PDF that I created in another program, and I can add that just by clicking on it there. I'm not going to walk through every single page today, but another feature you can do is you can change the order. So if you want to say, I want to come down here and I want prepare your home to attract buyers above pricing your home, I can just go over where I see the 4-way arrow. Anytime you see that, that's universal for move, and I can drag and drop these documents to be in a different order. Look at all those pages. There's some good stuff in there, but you might not want it all, and you have to go through and decide that. Do you have questions about this? The customize tab. Like I said, the first time you do it will be the most time intensive, and after that, it's going to remember and be easy. Any questions? All right, guys, next step is publish. For all 4 of these steps, there's the button at the top and there's a button at the bottom. Takes you to the same place. So I'm going to click publish, and I have now created my CMA. It's that easy. So doing that quick and dirty, you just put in your criteria, you find your listings, you modify the documents you want to be a part of it, and then you click publish. So first I'm going to show you this PDF view. We're going to take a look at that. Nikki, can you see my presentation?
I can. It's so beautiful.
Okay, I want to show you a few pages. So here is that cover letter. This is the one you want to make sure you modify who it's going to. You will see it automatically pulled in today's date. I should have showed you back when I was editing it, but there was some funky coding looking at the top above where it said Dear Ben and Stacy. And basically what that does is it pulls in the date automatically. So don't delete that out. It's hard coded to pull in the date. Next is my information. If you haven't added your photo to your avatar and you haven't added your logo, they won't appear here. So make sure that you add those to your settings. That's why it was important that Nikki went over that today. I'm going to scroll down. Look at the bottom of this page where it said add your contact information. This is, and she's told you it would be in the footer of every single page. This is what it looks like. So I went in and I said, add my email address, add my web address, my phone number, office phone number, my office address. You don't need to do that much, but this is just an example of all of that information displayed in the footer, and that will appear at the footer of every page. All right, I'm going to find a couple other pages to show you. So a map of all the listings. This is showing all the comps. It puts a pin on the subject property, and then it shows me where the properties are that I've considered comps. If I go down another page, here is that CMA that I created. If you had added the home photo, it would appear here. and it gives the property address. And here's where it says prepared for Ben and Stacy Trebian. Now, maybe you don't want this that far down. You could definitely move it to the top as far as location of this page. I'm going to keep scrolling down and show you a few more pages, but it's going to give you some really great data to be able to show them. You know, beds, baths, years built, year built, square footage, your price, the sold date. And then here's that 4-column comparison. So if you add information to the subject property, like the photo, or if I scroll down here, you can see I added that Sagewood Point 2-story. I added that additional bathroom and the garages. I now have more data to compare with my comps, right? If I scroll down, if I had more than just the first 3, it puts my subject property again in that 4-column comparison. It puts it at the front so I can compare the data of these properties with my subject property. I think I even have one more page. There we go. All right. More documents to just show the statistics about the homes that we've considered comps. The online valuation. So it's not so feared anymore, but look at that logo in the bottom right. It says provided by Zillow. Sometimes this is a big red flag to agents, but let's talk through this document and how it could be really beneficial to you as an agent. If I look at the sold listings, it gives us the Zestimate. And not only does it give us the Zestimate, but it gives us the sold price versus the Zestimate and the difference. So you can see some of these are really high or really low, right? The first one's pretty spot on, that 0.3%, that one's pretty close. But below that, there's a -4%. And below that, even worse, is a difference of 8.1% that they gave you as estimate high. You can use this form to talk about the inconsistencies and the inaccuracy of Zillow's Zestimate. Every single client you come to has looked up their Zestimate online. You've all done it. We all do it. All the consumers do it. It is a big, ugly, national site that we just can't control. So let's use this to our advantage and show the difference. As you go along in your business, if you're a new agent, also consider maybe figuring out what your difference is, sold price or list price to sold price. Show them how close you can be and really use this type of form to your advantage. All right, let me keep going down. Lots of information. So you'll see some data information like the sold property analysis, that online valuation, the side-by-side comparison. Those are all unique to Cloud CMA. But below that, you're going to start to see the MP Dodge marketing documents. You've seen these in your buyer seller guide. You'll see they're also all in RPR. You've seen them in your listing presentation. And if you use a PowerPoint or Keynote or you just print it, you've seen these documents. What kind of questions do you have about this PDF version? Talking a lot. Nobody?
I don't see anything.
Okay. Okay, so this is the PDF version. Now, an additional version that's available with Cloud CMA is what they call the live version. So this became super popular with COVID. It allowed you to digitally present this to your client, but think about how you could use this, use them both with your client. Maybe you sit down with a tablet or your laptop and you want to show your client the live version of your CMA and talk through it digitally, but then you have printed and bound in your office that PDF version and you leave that with them when you leave. So you can do both with your customer. And right now I'm going to show you the live. So if I click view live, we're going to let that report pull in. There's my cute little girl. We're just going to keep watching. You can see at the top, this is the CMA for 17831 Tibbles, prepared for Ben and Stacy. That's where that data all pulls in, just so that you're aware when you make those edits where all they're coming. So I have a couple options here. I can start the presentation by clicking here, and it's going to walk through each of these slides. So think of this kind of like a PowerPoint. Each one of these tiles is a slide or a page. So I can do start presentation and just walk through the whole thing. Or maybe you're talking to your client and you realize, like, I could just go straight to my comps, right? So I can click right here, go straight to my comps. Look how pretty this is. You see, I've got these arrows here. So when I did the PDF version, it gave me 3 pages of side-by-side comparison. Here, it's going to make my subject property static, and I can move around with my comps here, the 7 other comps. If we decide, you know what, as we're looking through these comps, I want to really look at one of these and, decide, why is this one, why was it sold at this price? What does it have that mine doesn't? Vice versa. So I can click on it and we can look through the pictures here. We can look through more information about the property. We can add adjustments here if we want to. If we start to look through here and together with your client, you say, this home has whatever, mine doesn't, or mine has whatever, and this one doesn't, you can adjust that here. Maybe, negative 10,000 for, I put that in the wrong spot. Bathroom, outdated. Let's do a negative 10,000. I've upgraded my bathroom. Guys, do not quote me on these, but you can make an adjustment right here in the live. And then I can go back to my comps. Here they are. I can keep scrolling through the information. At the bottom of each slide in the live version, you've got this little pencil so that you can do some real markups. I can go back to my homepage by clicking on the logo in the top left corner. That's kind of your universal go home button. I can come back down here and we can talk through that online valuation. Everything is clickable. So if I want to go back and be like, oh, what home was that? I can click on it and it's going to pull it up, but keep me on that same slide. And it's just super interactive and it looks really clean. I'm going to click that logo to go back. But let's say you're going through this before you meet with your client and you want to make some adjustments to this live version. You can do that by clicking on the hamburger menu to the left of the logo. Here is here are all my pages, but I can click this customize button and you'll see I've got some pages with the eyeball crossed through, which means they're hidden. I could hide any of these that I want to and unhide others. So if I want to unhide that one, I can. Maybe I want to hide another one. You can do that. And then you can click done. And then another sweet thing that you can see at the bottom of that menu on the left is you can start a virtual meeting. So your other option, if you're not going to meet with them face-to-face, is you can present them this live version through Zoom directly here. So I just click start. It's going to launch my Zoom and I can invite them to that Zoom meeting and present this CMA live to them right from this account. All right, guys, I'm talking a lot. This is the live version. Like I said, clickable. You've got to just go in, create fake ones. We can delete them. You can leave them. My whole account are fake CMAs. Go in and play with it. Create one for your own home or for your parents' home or someone you know. Questions? Feel free to put it in the chat or unmute or email me later if you're shy. That's fine too. No questions on the live? Okay, I'm going back to the main. This was, remember, last step, publish was where I created this CMA. I'm going to click on the wolf in the top left corner. Remember, clicking on a logo in a website is typically the go home button. So it's taking me back to where I started. You can see here is the CMA I created. Let's say I create it today. I'm meeting with them next week and I decided, you know what? I need to edit that. You always have an edit button right here. You have your buttons to the view PDF and view live versions right here on the front of that tile. And then you've got this meatball menu in the top right corner. I'm going to click on that. And you've got some other really useful tools. So copy the PDF link. This allows you to send that PDF version to your client without actually downloading it and then uploading it, attaching it to an email and sending it to them that way. This way you can just get a link and put it in the email and say, here's a link to the presentation we went over today. Maybe you want to send the live link to yourself on another device. You can do that by copying the link here. You can view the slideshow, copy the slideshow link. You can email directly from here and you can delete the report. All right. those are all the tools on the tile, allowing you to access the report you created as far as editing it or sharing it with your clients. If there's no questions on CMAs, are you guys good if I do a property report quick? Yeah.
I don't see anyone disagreeing.
Okay, cool. I'm going to find a listing quick. Give me just a second. Didn't prepare for this ahead of time. All right, I found one. Okay, so I'm going to click create a new report. I'm going to do the property report. This is going to look really familiar, guys. See these 4 steps? Same 4 steps. So I'm going to put the client name in here, or let's say I'm holding an open house and I'm bringing this to my open house. I could just put the property address in here. If you're going to take a client to one property, maybe you want to print this property report for them. Maybe you're going to take a buyer through one home and you don't want that whole buyer's tour, but you want to give them more information than just a flyer. And you don't want the really data-driven content from the MLS. You could use the property report to bring to them. So I'm going to call this Nikki Kershaw, and then I'm going to enter a property address or an MLS number. Let me make sure I got that right. So many 2s at the start of most of the properties right now is making it tricky. Okay, so then I'm going to say fetch listings. Here I am. I found the one listing that I'm going to show my client. I can scroll down and I can look at the details, make sure it's right. Just like on the other one, I can make some adjustments, add notes. I'm going to click customize once I say, yep, that's the right one. I'm going to customize the report. And the same way that we have different layouts with the CMAs, I can change the layout for my property report. Maybe you want to do a, photo with a map. You can do that. 2 photos. You can do photo with max data. So I'm going to do photo with a map. And then you can scroll down and you can add or remove any of these pages the same way that we could with the old one. So if you don't want this, let's look at this down payment resources. There's nothing on that. I think that was a fake page that I created. We're going to just click the negative sign. It's going to kick it out and it's no longer a part of my presentation. So now I'm going to click publish. I'm going to wait for it to publish. You also have the ability to email it, copy that PDF link the same way, but let's view that PDF quick. Okay, so I'm working with the buyer or I'm holding an open house. Here it's going to pull in the property information. It's going to say prepared for, and maybe if you're doing an open house, you say open house on, and then it says September 21st. If I scroll down, there's my contact page again. The property details, this is the one I chose, the layout with the property photo and the map side by side. And then it pulls in the rest of the listing photos. Got a couple pages of photos here. Area schools, I like this. It's going to show you what schools are nearby, their phone number, the distance, and it pulls from great schools. And so it includes private schools as well. So you'll see like St. Wenceslas, St. Vincent de Paul, Lifegate Christian School, not just the public schools nearby. And then area restaurants. I like this one too. So this is going to show you some nearby restaurants, the type of restaurant they are, how far, and their Yelp ratings. Online valuation, I probably don't need that one. That's got the Zestimate here. You can decide if you want to include that one or not. I don't know that that's a benefit to your client if you have that one in a property report. But that is how I create a property report in like 2 clicks. I think it was 3, but there it is. Any questions on that? No? All right, Nikki, what am I missing? I didn't look at my layout, my class list. Nothing. I think I covered it. All right, guys. Anybody have questions? If not, please feel free to reach out to me or Nikki or both of us. And if you want an account, we can set you up. You can start playing with it, create them all day long. Let's hear your question, Colleen.
Where on the tiles, the Dodge tiles, do you have your training for all of these recordeds?
So if you, let me pull up.
Is there a tile somewhere?
So if you go to training right here,
That's what I was going to.
and then you go down, oh, did it get moved? Oh, technology training. And I think we've got it broken out even more. So it's here, but
Okay, click that though. Because it just came up to your website for me.
yes. So then if you open the menu on the top right, we have it broken down over here
Oh,
by
the menu. Okay,
categories. Yeah.
okay.
And if you don't want to go through all those steps, it's just npdtraining.npdodge.com and you can access them that way too.
Okay. I will do that.
I'm going to put the link in the chat. All right. Any other questions?
That is it. Thank you.
All right.
Interesting. I always learn something from you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining, guys. If you have questions or you want to count, just reach out.
Okay.
Thank you.